Great.
Okay, good afternoon to the WellCoin Talk community. Today we have an AMA with Nova Creed here to speak about the project is Red and Yossarian. So yeah, if we could just maybe start with the core team's background and experience in crypto, that'd be great, guys.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. So do you want to take this, Red?
You fire away.
Cool. So I think what's important to start with is that Red and I have been working together for the past 4 years. In our previous lives, we were heading up as CEO and head of product, a software as a service company. However, we've been crypto and NFT fans for a number of years now, and more and more time was being spent on our passions over the business that we were running. So yeah, that's kind of the background in a nutshell. Red, do you want to add anything there?
Yeah, I mean, I think along with a lot of people, come January 2021, the NFT space really started to balloon, and it was always something, as Jos said, that we were really interested in. And yeah, it just kind of enraptured us, and we dove down a rabbit hole, and I've really not looked back since. We started building out Nova Creed probably back in June last year. That was the first sort of talks and ideation. Probably a few more months before things started going down. But yeah, it's been a real passion project for us.
Yeah, awesome. So you've got the Nova Creed token. It's going to be on the Polygon network, and you've got the Fuel token on Ethereum. Is the Fuel token launched, or are they both launching at the same time? How does that work?
So everything's on Polygon. Actually, the whole project will be on Polygon on Matic. The native ICE token is going to be launched in just a few days on the 26th. Will be public launch, and that's our main sort of native token. It's got a supply cap of 1 billion, and that will be what you'll need in the game to build new ships, to upgrade your ships, and to clone and breed new avatars, along with a few other functions that we'll be bringing in as the roadmap grows. The Fuel token is our in-game reward. It's got an unlimited supply, and this sort of dual tokenomics is really important, and it's a really powerful part of what we've created. Basically gives the game a massive longevity. There's no sort of supply that will end, because the main in-game reward is that unlimited token. And also, from all the research and sort of studying that we did of other games, part of the problem with handing out a token as a reward that's your main sort of investment token is that becomes the thing that people immediately start selling as they get it as a reward, obviously. So having this dual system works really, really well. And the other parts of it are our NFTs, obviously. So we've got the Genesis collection, 4,321 NFTs, artwork done by Llewellyn Jane. We're really, really proud of these. And as well as that, we have the spaceships, which will be piloted in the game. I should say as well, the game is a really addictive, simple arcade shooter. It's actually ready, and it will be ready for launch. The launch will be a week after the token launch. We've already got it in beta. We've had it in beta for about 6 weeks with members of our community playing it. So this isn't one of those we drop a project and there's a long 6 to 12 month dev cycle. It's ready to go, and it'll be out and playable pretty much immediately.
Okay, yes. So the NFTs are matching the amount of inhabitants you've got on the Alonius V space station. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
What will the NFTs cost? Are they being minted on the Polygon network, and you can add like different rarities to the
that's it.
characters?
Yeah. So there's 6 different. Oh, you want to fire over this, Jos?
Yeah, I can run with this. I think we're on the Polygon network, and for whitelisted wallets, it'll be 100 Matic, and that's a 20% saving on when we go to public launch at 7 p.m. UTC on the 2nd of April. So from then on, it'll be 125 Matic. So the important thing to note, though, is that from basically launch, if you get one of our Genesis avatar NFTs, we will be airdropping you at least 1 spaceship. So based on the number of avatars you buy, you could get one or several different spaceships to accommodate the different avatar characters that you own. Just a little note on those. So 4,321, they come from 6 different species, and every character has a bunch of different traits. So it's generative art. We'll share some imagery into the account later if we can. But as well as, you know, different hairstyles and different eyewear and different neckwear and different outfits, and of course different skin colors because they're different species. They all have a different profession and they all have a different rank. So there are 6 professions, from pilots to navigators, engineers to gunners, medics to deckhands. And we have different ranks as well. So the lowly ensigns, then we've got lieutenants, captains, vice admirals, right up to admirals. And that's really important because to fill a 6-person ship, or 6-player ship, I should say, you want to have a diverse team. So we've got a diverse team here at Nova Creed, and that's what we believe is for the best. So we're encouraging that from our owners, our players. And so you want to try and get somebody from, you want to try and get a player from every one of those professions, because having those will give you a boost as well. So having a gunner will double the power of your shooting. Having a pilot allows you to do reverse movements with your ship. Having a medic means that you will recover quicker, and so on. So every different character contributes. So yeah, there's a lot of different traits and different elements to every NFT, and we think that's really exciting because you might feel that you've got a lowly ensign deckhand, but if that's the missing piece of the jigsaw for somebody who doesn't have one of those, then they would be desperate to get that off you. And so we think we're creating something that will stimulate a lot of trading.
I just want to add on to that a little bit about the spaceships that we've got as well. So hopefully we'll get to share some images of those. They are really amazing, and obviously we're sci-fi themed. That's not just random. We are massive sci-fi fans, and it was a bit of a dream come true for us. We're actually working with the ex-lead designer behind Battlestar Galactica's spaceships from the massive TV series, and he's the guy who's designed these spaceships, and they really do look phenomenal.
So I think you were saying with the NFTs, I was looking at the white paper, it'll be like, depending on how many NFTs you buy, you would get a different tier type ship. Is there like 4 different size ships to?
Yeah, we've got 3 different ship sizes. So you have the class 1, which holds 1 player, the class 2, which holds 3 players, and then the class 3, which holds up to 6 players. But, you know, let's say, for instance, you bought 18 Avatar NFTs, you'd get 3 6-player ships. And if you bought 11, you'd get a 6-player ship and a 3-player ship, and I think a 1-player ship as well.
Well, I'm a big fan of EVE Online and Elite Dangerous, so you're sort of going on that side of Space Sim. Yeah,
I think, is that Evaverse, did you mention, sorry?
Online and Elite Dangerous, which is David Braben's Elite, was a very old game for the ZX Spectrum when I was younger, and I'm still playing these space games today.
Brilliant, awesome.
Good man. I'm not aware of it, but you're showing your age, Glenn. I like it.
So you're doing the games in stages, and then it looks like they're going to be linked together and then form a metaverse in the future. Is that the plan?
Yeah, in a nutshell. So we've got this first one, which is our sort of PvE. This is where you'll farm the resources. You're flying around, blowing up asteroids, collecting the resources and taking them back to base. And subsequently, we'll be doing a PvP version. So you'll be able to battle it out against each other, which is really exciting, I think, for any gamers out there. A nice competitive element, as always. It's always really fun. And as you collect your resources, you'll be upgrading and building new ships. And eventually you'll start to get a little fleet together. And around that time where people are really starting to build up their fleets, we'll be releasing Fleet Wars, which is more of a strategy-based, turn-based game. And you'll be able to put your whole fleet into action then. So that'll be really fun. We've kind of structured our roadmap to work with our growing player base, so the things will be dropped as they're sort of needed by the players. Keep things smooth, keep things fresh as we move on.
You're going to plan breeding new Nova Creed NFTs in the future as well.
Exactly. So we've got 4,321 at the moment. We want to make sure that we've got a full player base. Everyone's playing and enjoying it, but obviously we want to keep growing. We don't want to have a complete cap. So when the time's right, we'll bring out the cloning so that new players will be able to essentially clone those, and so existing players will be able to clone and breed new avatars, and then new players will obviously have to go to the secondary market to get them off you guys. And that's another way that you'll be able to earn from the game. We want as quickly as possible to make the economy really player focused and player owned.
With the roles and ranks, will you be able to level up inside the game?
Yeah, I think so. One of the key things, so obviously the roles and ranks are attached or attributed to the NFTs themselves, so they won't change. They will remain the traits within those individual NFTs. However, you will be able to upgrade your ships. So part of the gameplay within the PvE Ice Hunt is that you will win fuel for every game that you play. The top 3 performers every day will win ice, our governance token as well. And you'll be able to send your ships out on missions. Now, these missions are crucial in terms of kind of progressing in the game because they'll allow you potentially to win some metal. So you send out a ship, it goes on a foraging expedition and will hopefully come back with some metal. Once you have enough metal, you're then able to combine it with some fuel that you earn every time you play, and some of your ice to be able to upgrade your ship. And so you can go from a class 1, a 1 player, up to a class 3 over the course of time. And obviously then the idea here is that once you have a class 6 player, a class 3 ship, you're then able to start building a class 1. And that means that people, we believe, will then kind of sell those class 1s on, and that will let more people into the game. So it's a nice kind of fulfilling life cycle where you're creating, but then that's bringing more people in as well.
Okay, awesome. And are you planning like upgrades to the shields and weapons on the ships?
Yeah, so mods and different upgrades will be something that we'll be bringing in down the line. At the moment, as Jos said, the main sort of ship component that you'll be foraging for is like sheets of metal, but that is open to change. We will be looking to bring in sort of each different part of the ship and add those in. So rather than just that one component, we're going to make it more granular over time. So yeah, that'll be a lot of fun for people, and hopefully as we get to the bigger player base, we'll also be looking to have our players make those components and design them, whether that's like just a skin for the ship or if it's within parameters to be able to burn resources to create a ship part for themselves rather than foraging it out. And then they can either use that in their ships or sell it on in the secondary market.
So it's starting with P2E. Will that be through mining basically the ice, is it, or the fuel? And then you're moving on to PvP. So would you get like tokens for kills in space? Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll be looking to pool. So you'll be able to pool with another player or even multiple players, like a deathmatch, and take home the bounty.
So, and also I see with the spaceships, you're going to offer up to 1,000 ships in the private sale and the pre-sale.
Yeah, that's it. I think this is one of the, it's a great offering, we believe. So if you get in on whitelist, you're going to be able not only to get 20% discount, but also be airdropped these incredible ships designed by the lead designer from Battlestar Galactica. They're beautiful NFTs, and every one of them we've got 18 different ships, so 3 a class 1, a class 2, a class 3 for each of the different 6 species, and they're just incredible. So we're going to be airdropping out up to 1,000 of those ships next Sunday, basically. So Red and I are in for a busy day of allocating those out to the first buyers of the NFT avatars.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, everyone loves spaceships, especially me. So can we go into the Alone ESV space station? That's where everyone's going to start by the looks of it. I think there's bars on the space station, and will you be able to do trading? Because I think you're planning a in-universe marketplace as well.
Yeah, let Red speak about this.
Yes, that's planned for the first sort of. I think the first thing that we want to work on after we launch is we're creating a renting system so that you'll be able to rent out your NFTs if you're not into playing the game, or if you've got too many to play all of them, and sort of have a profit share with other players that will be able to come in and use those NFTs. After we've got that nailed, we want to bring out our sort of native marketplace as well, offering some great rewards in ICE for players to trade on that platform, giving them incentive to use it. And over time, that will then become quite player focused. You'll be able to create assets as well as just the ones that already exist, but create your own ones to sell on there. So it'll be, the word ecosystem and economy gets thrown around a lot, but we really are trying to build our own economy and ecosystem that you'll be able to contribute to.
So, and could you, one of you, share your screen? Can you show us some of the ships that are going to be available? Or you could DM me and I can post them in the main chat, because I think I've locked the chat down, so you won't be able to post any in there.
I'll do that for you right now, Glenn. I can DM you some.
All right, awesome.
Cool.
Right, so yeah, if we also on mute, then if we can just go into some more details on the game for investors, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it'd be great as well when we DM these across. We'll actually get some footage going across as well, so you'll be able to see it and see more about the actual gameplay, which is fun. But you will, as you load up the game, you'll choose your one, however many characters can fit into your ship. You'll choose your ship, however many characters can fit into there, and then it's a browser-based web game. So you'll be on the arrow keys, moving your ship around, shooting enemies, shooting asteroids. It's two different asteroids: the fuel asteroids and the ice asteroids. The ice are obviously for your points, and the fuel is to keep you flying for longer. So it's time limited on that sense, but you can give yourself more time by focusing on destroying those type of asteroids. Each rank or role has its own unique utility. So I think we mentioned a little bit before, but things like the gunner, for instance, will give you an extra edge with your fighting. So you'll have a higher fire rate and you'll have a little bit more damage. So you'll be able to destroy asteroids quicker, destroy the enemies quicker. We've got other roles like a navigator, which will give you an extra mini map, which is awesome, looks really good, and gives you it's surprising. It's probably one of the coolest utilities because you get that extra little bit of the map that you can see, so you can see further afield to track asteroids and avoid the enemies. And so yeah, it's been in beta, and it's had some really good reception from our community and our players. We've been tweaking it to make sure everything's really nice and balanced, which has been a really fun process. And yeah, bit of a dream really. As an avid gamer myself, like nerfing and buffing and having fun with that sort of thing, and going back and forth with the community and getting such positive feedback has been really, really, really nice.
Just putting some of the ships there and NFTs. Yeah, they look awesome. So who's working on the design of the NFTs? Have you got and the game? Is it all in-house, or are you outsourcing some of it?
No, it's all in-house. We've been working with Luella Jane, who's an illustrator that's previously worked with the likes of BBC, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Fox Kids. So she's the one that's created these avatar PFPs for us. There's 6 there as an example, but obviously these are generative art, yeah. So I think in total there's 140 different traits, creating potentially millions of different variations. For the spaceships, as we've mentioned, Butty that's created these, they've worked with, well, obviously Battlestar Galactica is the one we've mentioned, but also Jurassic World and a bunch of other gaming and movie based projects. So these are just so super slick, you know, and I think they really stand out.
Yeah, we're really proud of them.
Awesome. Right, so are you planning audits for the token before launch or after launch?
So the ICE token is already audited and ready to go.
Going forward, what's the marketing plans going to be for the project?
Lots. Yeah, we have a lot of different things planned, and there's a few different scopes. Obviously, we're already working with 3 or 4 different marketing companies. They're all sort of got their own agenda and working on their individual bits. A big part of what we want to do though is, you know, things like this, AMAs. We're doing 10 this week. I think we've got 3 tonight. We're going to be doing another 10 next week. So just outreach and talking to people, getting the word out there is a big part of it. And then we have our partnerships, which are pretty exciting. Gaming guilds have already been pretty interested in the project. We've got a few of those that we've been in advanced talks with. But more than that, other bigger partnerships that we've been looking into and getting really excited about are things like Crypto Blades and IGG. So these communities are obviously pretty big, and they've been taking a real interest in Nova Creed. Jos, you've been sort of working with these. You could probably describe them a bit better.
Yeah, so I'm sure many of the people on the call will know of Crypto Blades. We're delighted to say we've been approved yesterday to participate in their gold knighthood. So that's a huge win for us. We're super excited. We've been dealing with the CEO and COO down there. So really looking forward to kind of rolling that out. With regards to intergalactic gaming, this might not be quite as well known, but they're fantastic UK-based portal really for what has up to now or up until this year primarily been focused on console gaming, but they realize, you know, the potential within Web3 and P2E specifically. So they are now rolling out. Basically, it's a kind of place where people can play against each other simultaneously, and whoever wins the highest score, you know, will win out and take the winnings. So they provide prizes as well. Really phenomenal setup there, and they're currently doing a lot of stuff with Call of Duty, FIFA, so the big console games. And what they see this as is a bridging project. So next month they're launching Nitro Gaming, and I've just got communication from them this afternoon that they're interested in progressing stuff with Nova Creed. So again, that will be a super interesting project for us. There's one more thing that we're working towards, which is even bigger again, but that's something that our lips are sealed on at the moment. So watch this space, I would suggest, and give us a follow on Twitter. We're pretty open on everything. So yeah, definitely, you know, following us on Twitter, joining the Discord, joining the Telegram is where it'll be announced as and when things finally get rubber stamped.
And you're planning a merchandise store with graphic novels, spaceship models, physical ones that people can own, which is really cool. How is that going to be paid? Will it be in the native token, or will it be in BUSD? Or?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now, the core focus for us in the medium term is going to be releasing the PvP and the strategy-based Fleet Wars game. We're lining things up. So, for instance, we've been in touch with the largest independent book producer in the UK about the graphic novel. So those things are just getting lined up right now. Exactly how we go about processing payment, etc., will be confirmed down the line. Yeah, of course, we'd love it to be in native token. That would be awesome. But it could be, you know, that it's not, or it could be a hybrid combination of different things. So I would say, you know, the core focus right now is on rolling out these other games and the marketplace and the cloning. There's lots of work to be done, but the merchandise we feel will kind of be a natural progression from that as the player base grows.
I think the reasoning behind the. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you're right. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, yeah, the reasoning behind our graphic novels and things, we've built out a really rich storyline behind everything. I think in modern games, console games, computer games, there's often a really interesting storyline behind, with lots of different characters and things to sort of get your teeth dug into beyond the actual gameplay. And traditionally, so far in blockchain gaming, that's kind of not been there. So we really are working on that quite hard to pull out a beautiful, rich tapestry of stories and characters. Every species has a home planet and has, unique characters that inhabit that world and have affected the overall histories. And the graphic novels are going to encapsulate a lot of that. Some of the stories have already been published, just short form versions. So it's very much sort of like on the way. But yeah.
I'm just wondering, in the game in the future, I think you were looking at people being able to have space stations. Would there be NFTs that can go around the space stations, go to bars? Because I know there's going to be some bars on the Elonius V.
Yes, so I mean, what we want is for all those things, space stations, planets, maybe even asteroids and other parts of it to be player owned. And then there will be within those maybe a shop that you could rent out or something that you could, we want to create opportunities for passive income for people. We want to create something really immersive. And with the great thing about space as a theme and as a thing is it's fully expansive. So there's so many opportunities for how we can grow that out, starting from something simple like the space station and then working out there. We really are all about bite-sized chunks, releasing things often over the course of our roadmap, rather than sort of setting a 2-year goal and trying to drop it all at once. We'll be doing little bits and often and growing that way.
And how will you be funding it? I mean, it's a good idea because, like I said earlier on, you were going to do the games in stages. So some people come here with huge metaverses, and it's like not achievable in a short space of time or financially, because it's a huge. So you're starting game by game, and then you can put some of that into building the space and the space stations in the future. Is how it's going to work? Exactly.
So far, as you said, we've kept things relatively small rather than doing an immersive metaverse, which costs, a lot to do up front. And we can build from these small components into something bigger. We're self-funded so far. That's where we've got to now with our first game going out. But a lot of the funding will come from, obviously, the NFTs going live in the next couple of weeks, and that sale, which will spring us onto the next springboard. Going forward, our marketplace will be really important. We'll be having, a small percentage of sales going through there will be going back to us. So this is how we can make it really sustainable going forward, rather than having to, keep trying to do raises over time. We've got a nice plan mapped out. Obviously, to encourage people to use the marketplace, we'll be using the ICE rewards. So we feel like we've got a nice sustainable system to grow ourselves and keep these steady drops going as we grow into something much bigger. We have big ambitions, but we're just we've got a lot of experience with in tech and the software as a service business that we ran for a long time and before that. So we feel like we've got a really good plan of how to grow sustainably.
Great, yeah. What's the breakdown of the NFTs? How much is going to be used for development? And is there going to be some buyback and burns on the token, and the buys and sells on the token there? How's the tax work for investors?
So there's no tax on the token. We're not planning any buyback or burns at the moment. And in terms of the breakdown, so the PvP, I think actually, Jos, do you remember the full breakdown in the slide deck that we had?
On which elements now, sorry?
Probably the first 6 months of the first 2 games.
Yeah, right now on the spot, I can't recall. Sorry, I'm afraid.
back to that. I can open up to questions from everyone else in the team. If anyone's got a question for Nova Creed, go ahead.
Hey Glenn, yeah, I was listening in. It sounds super exciting, and I do have a few questions. First, I was wondering about the avatars, because you mentioned they're going to have different specializations and they'll upgrade different parts of your ship. And are those going to be minted randomly, or are you planning on having an even distribution, so everybody gets a chance to get one? Or is there a chance for, I don't know, end up with just 20 pilots or 50 pilots or something like that, where they will be immensely more valuable than the other avatars?
Yeah, so it is random. So when you mint, you'll get a completely random one. You may get multiples, and this will be part of the trading subsequently to build up the right crew for you. They are completely random as they mint. So that'll be a little bit of fun on reveal, seeing what you've got and trying to hopefully snag the ones that you need off the secondary market.
Yeah, I like that you're keeping it sort of a sandbox kind of thing where people have to trade between each other, because I know that that's the best way of doing it, to be honest. When you're building a game, let the players actually decide what something is worth, who they want to sell it to, if they want to sell it, or if they want to keep it keep it scarce maybe. So having sort of a sandbox economy built by players is the best way to do it, in my opinion. And also I don't know if you mentioned this already, but is there going to be sort of like a limit of number of plays per day or hours or anything like that? Or you also mentioned that you're kind of tweaking the game, so will people just be able to go on and play for 8 hours and grind away at the metal sheets and roam the game freely?
It's a great question.
Great questions. I think just to touch on one of the first things, I'm sure Red will like to talk more about the scoring metrics and how we're going to record things. But just to go back to that kind of the rarity distribution, we do believe, obviously, every player of the game is going to have different skill sets. So there are going to be people who are real sharpshooters and really confident. So for them, getting a good pilot would be a real kind of boon that would really help them out. There'll be others that are less skilled. And so for them, getting an engineer that can help them retain their fuel so that they can last longer in the game will be more important. What's really important to note is that all of our ships as well have different ratings for fuel, speed, attack, and defense. So people will look to trade between the different types of ships. So if you have a Xylax ship, it could be strong in one of those traits, but weak in another. If you have a Carlithian ship, could be average across the board. So we feel like, there will be trading encouraged, and it's not just a way of buying your way to the top. It's about finding the characters and finding the ships that work well for your skill set. And that's, I think, probably the most exciting bit about Ice Hunt, is it's not just, splash the cash and get admirals. The other thing, we haven't mentioned yet, is that you should have a mixture of ranks. So getting just admirals in your ship isn't going to help you out. You want to get a mixture of different ranks. All of those elements come into play. In terms of scoring and how we're going to look after the players, I'll let Red talk a little more on that.
Sure. So it's a really interesting topic, and we spent a long time working out the best way, because equally as we don't necessarily want people just being able to splash the cash and win the game that way, there can be problems if someone can just grind away for 16 hours of the day and take a lot of resources through that. So what we've done is you basically get submitted a score onto the leaderboard, and you can submit one score per ship. So the amount of rewards you can get kind of capped that way. And that means that you could come on and play once. And if you do a really good game, in that one game that you've played, spending 10, 15, 20 minutes playing, and you've got a good score, that's brilliant. And you'll get the good rewards for it. You might need to play 3 or 4 to get that top score. But ultimately, if you do play 3, 4, 5, or 6, you'll only be improving on that score for every ship that you've got, rather than just being able to grind out and get tons of resources.
Right. it sounds super nice. Like I like that. So what I'm hearing is like there's gonna be sort of like a daily, weekly, monthly, whatever token pool cap out of which people will be able to win. So there's not gonna be like a huge influx of people just cashing out their winnings every few hours, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, and also the fact that you're taking it that far as to kind of simulate a real crew, right? Because you mentioned, yeah, if you have like six admirals or whatever, well, there's no, I don't know, corporal to man the cannons or anything like that, so nobody would be doing the work, which I think it's a really nice touch to it, like to keep it super I don't know, engaging, yeah.
That's it. I think the fans of the game are going to really benefit. So those people that are listening into AMAs like this that are really kind of keeping tabs on it are going to know what's best, and we want to reward those people. So yeah, I'm glad you feel it's a good tactic.
Well, it is. It is. It does get people engaged, and I know people get excited about NFTs and all that, and trading and flipping them. But if they actually engage with the game and they get caught up there, that's even better for the game, for the token holders, for the NFT holders, for everyone. So it's super exciting. And I just have like one more thing for me. It seems like you guys have really done some cracking of the numbers there. So I'm wondering if you're planning to have any type of sort of token sinks later down the line where people will be able to use what they earn in game to actually, I don't know, burn them or send them to you to the contract or something where they get like special benefits, sort of to create more scarcity for the token.
Yeah, so there are obviously you can use the token. So there's the two tokens we've got, the fuel and the ice. So the fuel, whenever it gets used, it gets burnt. So that's when you're running missions, for when you're building ships or cloning species, and many more things to come. And yeah, the ice, when it gets spent on these things as well, and goes to the community treasury, in which case the community will be able to vote on what to do with that and use it to sort of forward the benefits of the community at large.
All right, yeah, it sounds super interesting, guys. Like I was looking at the trailer, looks super cool. All right, yeah, I'll thank you for answering. I'll step aside. I'll let
No, thanks a lot.
members.
Great. Yeah, we'll go over to investor question. We've got lots of hands up. Let's have a look. Aisha, you had a question for the Nova Creed team. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Okay, my question to Nova Creed team is that you mentioned about avatars and their ranks, that every avatar will have different ranks from Ensign, which will have 1 star to Admiral having 5 stars. I was wondering if a player gets Ensign rank avatar, will player be able to rank up his avatar while playing game, or it's not possible?
No, as we discussed earlier, so the trait of that rank will be attributed to that specific NFT. So yeah, that you may well, let's say, have a pilot that is an ensign. Now, if you wanted to get an admiral and pilot, you'd need to trade to do that. So the NFTs themselves are kind of immutable. We can't change the traits. But obviously there'll be, a variety, and there's great distribution. We've got a really good distribution set up. And yeah, there's sure enough, there's some professions that are rarer than others. So I don't want to kind of reveal too much here. I don't know if we can, Red, but some professions, yeah, there'll be quite a lot more of those characters out in the Novaverse, and others there'll be fewer.
Okay, got it. And on your white paper, I've read about player versus player mode, which will be coming in future. I was wondering, as it is spaceship retro game, I want to know that in player versus player mode, will only 2 players be able to battle, or players can form a team and then battle against each other?
So yeah, I mean, that's a great question. We are hoping to do both. And we're also looking at modes like capture the flag style, where you'll have to sort of hold a space station, or by staying over the space station area and having your team stay over the space station area, you'll be collecting points. So yeah, we're looking at 2 or 3 different styles of that PvP. A lot of this is, still being in the ideation phase. Definitely 1v1, and the others we're hoping to introduce depending on a few factors as we continue to build it out.
Okay, that's great. Got it. Okay, one more question from my side. Fuel is the in-game token which will be required in building ships, cloning, etc. I was wondering, will users only get fuel coin in the game, or will players be able to convert ice token to fuel coins?
Initially, no. You'll only get it in game.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for answering my questions.
No problem.
Right. We'll move on to Sayed. You had a question for the Nova Creed team. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Glenn. So, as there are different classes of the ships, class 1, class 2, and class 3, just to be clear, I want to know that will it be necessary for class 3 ship to have 3 avatars?
So it's the class 1, you can have one character. Class 2, you can have 3, and class 3, you can have 6. You don't need to fill it up though, so you can have only 3 avatars in the class 6 ship. That will come with, a class 6 ship comes with its own bonuses anyway, so it will be a little faster, perhaps a little bit more storage because it's a bigger ship. You'll basically be able to fit more ice on it. But you will still be able to fly it with less characters. But obviously, you're not getting the full utility because you haven't got every space filled. So it hasn't got all the benefits of someone who has a full crew in a 6-man ship.
Okay, got it. So you mentioned, I was going through your white paper and you also mentioned about that avatars. So I was reading that one avatar can build or upgrade one ship in a month. So I was wondering that only a single avatar can build a single ship in a month, or a single avatar will be able to build multiple ships?
Yeah, so the setup is that you'll be able to upgrade or create a ship per month per avatar.
Okay, so in next month, the avatar can create another ship, build another ship, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, got it. Thanks for clearing that up. Final question. Okay. So you mentioned about this cloning feature. So I was wondering, what will be the requirements for players to be able to clone? I mean, will players be able to clone or breed new NFTs? And how will they be able to breed new NFTs? And what factors will determine the features of the new Nora Creed NFTs?
So yeah, we want to keep some of this a little bit to our chest. So we want to have some exciting announcements to come down the line. But essentially, Luella has agreed to continue working with us and making new artworks. And I'll just say that the universe is big, and while there's 6 species that we know of so far, there will be potentially more out there to discover. In terms of like how it will happen, it will be similar in a way to the shipbuilding. You'll require fuel, you require ice, and also some components to help building your or to use in the cloning machine that will get burnt as well. So there'll be a few steps to go through to get those required resources, and then you'll be good to go.
Got it. And obviously there will also be a limit one can clone. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
No problem.
All right, Venice, you had a question for the Nova Creed team. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Glenn. Actually, I do have a few questions. So my first question is, as we have different kind of avatars and everyone has different responsibilities on the spaceship. For example, if we have more than one gunner on the spaceship, then will our spaceship have an advantage over other spaceships having only one gunner?
Yeah, so as I think you're indicating that would the bigger spaceships have an advantage over the smaller spaceships? Is that correct, Venice?
No, No, I was
Okay,
I
sorry.
was saying that we have different kind of avatars, and if we have more than one gunner on spaceship, then will our spaceship have an advantage over other spaceships which have only one gunner, or if we
Okay,
have
cool.
two
Yeah, yeah,
engineers
I get
and
it.
the other spaceship have one engineer? Yeah.
So yeah, this is one of the things we were trying to explain earlier, is that diversity is a positive, yeah, in all aspects of life, and especially in extraterrestrial life. So what we want are spaceships that have a variety of different characters on them. You'll only get rewarded once for. It doesn't matter if you have one gunner, two gunners, three gunners, or six gunners on your ship. Your power, your shooting power, will only be doubled once. So your best bet is to have a mixture of different players. And let me tell you, in the beta testing, especially with 3-player ships, it's super difficult to choose which 3 is best for you. And this goes back to what I was talking about earlier, that every different player is unique. And so for some people, it might be best to have a gunner, a pilot, and a navigator. For others, it might be better to have a medic, an engineer, and a deckhand. And there's any combination therein, yeah? So that's what we believe is going to encourage a lot of trading. Obviously, the original OG Genesis avatars are going to be minted randomly. And so some people might end up with, they might buy 6 and 4 of them might be pilots. But our advice to them, if they want to play the game, is to start trading those pilots, because you would be better off with a mixture, a diverse team on your ship.
Yeah, and also I want to know that can we upgrade the capacity of the spaceship so we can fit in more crew members and can have more space for the stuff we gather during the mission to bring it back to our station?
This is a great question. So yeah, the ship sizes are fixed for now. Never say never. That could change in the future. I know when we first started speaking about it, we were talking. God, if it was only 6-7 months ago, but it feels like 6-7 years ago. We were talking about some like real massive ships. So potentially that might happen down the line. But for now, yeah, it'll be fixed at 1, 3, and 6-player ships. In terms of the ice that you're able to bring back, I'll let Red speak a little to that.
So yeah, each ship obviously has a slightly different size, and the 1-man, 3-man, and 6-man. Obviously, the 1-man's the smallest, so the capacity for ice is generally smaller. And similarly, for 3-man, it's slightly bigger, and 6-man slightly bigger. But each ship will be completely unique, so there's no guarantee that every 1-man ship will have the exact same capacity. There will be slight variations. So again, when you're going on to the secondary market to check out ships and see which one to buy, you'll be wanting to look for ones with just that little bit more stats when it comes to the hold.
Okay. Well, yeah, great. Okay. And one last question from me. Do you have any custom settings in the game for difficulty level? Like if user sets it to the easy mode, then the missions will be easy for him to complete, but with less rewards. And if he choose difficulty level to maximum, then missions will be harder, but rewards are higher.
Hey, you know what, Venice? That's an awesome idea. We don't have that set in place just yet, but I love the idea of that, of being able to kind of tailor the game to your skill set. So yeah, right now the game is kind of fixed at the same level of difficulty for everyone, but we are able to control some of the settings, and this is what we've been testing over this 6-week beta testing phase, is turning up the intensity of the enemy ships, or reducing the spawning of the different asteroids. So there's a huge number of variables that we're able to tinker with. But yeah, having the user being able to define the difficulty setting of the game is a really interesting angle. Red, do you want to add to that? Sorry.
I would only add that it does get more difficult over time at the moment.
Yeah.
So there is that to it as well. So the longer that you stay alive, the more frantic it becomes, which is pretty fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. if you've got a full tank of ice, when it starts getting hectic, our advice is get back to that base as quick as you can, because it can be pretty difficult. And there's nothing more infuriating than having a full tank of ice, a full load, and then just dying within sight of the base. So it's pretty exasperating, but bloody exciting as well.
Yeah, thank you so much for yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, great questions, Venice. Thanks very much. So yeah, where are we at for investors to get involved in the Nova Creed project? Private sale, pre-sale, and whereabouts would they go to purchase, the private or pre-sale?
Yeah, so obviously, we welcome all members of the community here to head to novacreed.com to check out the site in more detail. That's where we'll be launching the NFTs. If you can get whitelisted, that will be next Friday at 7 p.m. UTC. Public launch will be next Saturday, the 2nd of April at 7 p.m. UTC. And just remember, if you're getting these Genesis avatars, you're going to be airdropped the spaceships, which we've obviously shared in the community. Red, anything to add?
Yeah, obviously a week before the NFTs, we have the token launching to the public on the 26th. It'll be available on QuickSwap. Best place to check out for details on that is our Discord and our Telegram. Pre-sale for the token is also going live on Friday, so 24 hours before. That is being launched on the Prize Launchpad. The Prize is a team that we've been working with to incubate and launch our token. And so they have some great opportunities to get in on the pre-sale through their community. So it's definitely worth checking them out as well. We can probably link their Telegram in the comments just after.
Just one thing to add from my side of things is that if you head to the Nova Creed Twitter feed, we've got a bit of a competition going on just now. We're going to pin the tweet, and there should be some whitelist opportunities for anyone that's listening right now. So head over to Nova Creed. It's Nova Creed NFT at Nova Creed NFT. Check out our pinned tweeted thread, and you should be able to kind of find out whether or not you'll be able to get a whitelist spot.
We always say anyone listening back to the recording, we can get you safely over to the official Nova Creed Telegram if you've got any questions listening back to the recording or in here today. It's been great speaking to the Nova Creed team. It's a super exciting project. Spaceships, all fun that I certainly enjoy, and a lot of investors as well. And there's not much in this space being built on the blockchain space games. So yeah, it's really exciting. It's quite early. And I'm looking forward to the future for the Nova Creed team. Thanks very much for coming today.
Absolute pleasure. And thank you so much to you, Glenn, for organising this. It's a brilliantly run AMA. It's been one of the best we've worked on so far. And so, kudos to you and the team for getting such a great community.
Thank you very much. I think we've got Spin the Wheel as well today for 2 lucky winners, $50 each. I don't know if Acti or the Dizzle